Hi, it's me, Daphne. Welcome to my channel and welcome to this video. So for this vlog, I am going to be giving you all of my spoilery thoughts for Jade War, the second book in the Greenbone saga. This is a part of my book club and I'm very excited to read this with you all. So currently I am on chapter 8. That's about 70 pages in, and I'm enjoying myself so far. We really jump right back into where Jade City left off for the most part. It's been about maybe a year and a half, but like not that much has changed in the elapsing time. So the main interesting things that have happened so far is that Shay is seeing someone. She's seeing this like professor guy, and I think that's super cute. He seems very like sweet and laid back and not really into the Greenbone world or anything. He says he's not a clan loyalist, which kind of scares me. I'm like, okay, don't betray Shay ever, you know, otherwise I'm gonna be really pissed off. So I like him, but I'm hesitant to trust him. And then Hilo has been taking over his duties a little bit more. He's still mad at Andon. He really wants Andon to come back. Andon has been away at like a seaside town with Shay's mother, Hilo's mother too. He's being guarded by Greenbones. So like he's just trying to like live a normal life, but it's just not possible. He needs to be protected because he's a part of the family, because he killed the Horn of the Mountain Clan, so the Mountain Clan's gonna want revenge on him, and Hilo protects his family no matter what, even if he's pissed off at them. Hilo and Shay decide to send Andon away to Espenia to like study or whatever, and kind of have somebody understand the larger scope of what's going on politically with these large powers coming in, because there is a larger war brewing. I will say some of the like geography stuff and like how the country dynamics and like the alliances and stuff is kind of a lot right now. It's being thrown at me and I really can't wrap my head around it. Like I feel like in real life sometimes I don't understand what's going on with like the larger political scope of like countries and alliances and like the history and the bad blood and why they hate each other and all this stuff. So trying to catch up in like under 70 pages is really challenging. I keep flashing back and forth between obviously the chapters and like this world map, but it's still not really clicking with me. There's a lot going on, a lot of political stuff that I don't really understand at this point, but I felt like in the beginning of Jade City, I didn't really understand what was going on either because I didn't understand how the magic worked. So maybe it's just gonna take me some time to warm up to understand like the political aspects. So we'll see how that goes. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to report on the book so far. I am still very hopeful that I'm going to absolutely love it. We'll see if it's 5 stars. It might end up being a 4 stars, but it's still so extremely early in the story that I can't quite determine that yet. This vlog is gonna be going up after we've had our live show discussion. So I'm gonna be talking about this book in a live show with my co-hosts, Sam, Eliza, and Meredith. So if you wanna watch that, I'm gonna link it up in the corner for you if you wanna see that as well. But you can also just stick around and hear my personal detailed thoughts on this book. We also have a Discord linked, so we're gonna be reading Jade Legacy after this one, so you can still catch up on the series and participate and chat with us if you like. So I'm gonna link my book club Discord where I have channels for all these books where we talk and chat and spoil the hell out of this book safely, because I have like sections, it's like 25%, whatever. Just go look, it's a fun time, and I'm gonna be posting my annotations there as well. So I look forward to seeing you if you decide to join. So I'm gonna get back to reading. I'm probably gonna do check-ins every 25%. That way this vlog isn't extremely long. I'm here to update you on my 25% mark in Jade War. I don't wanna let too much time go before I continue on. So there's a lot of like political stuff going on with the larger countries, with Utah and Espenia. Wrapping my head around that whole political landscape was really challenging in the beginning, but I think I figured it out. Kekon is allied with Espenia for necessary reasons, but they're not like culturally that inclined. They're not like really interested in other cultures in general. Kekon tends to be kind of, they have like this superiority complex, like they think they're better than literally every other country, which is very toxic. But they are technically allies with Espenia. So then the country across from Espenia, like across the globe, but on the other side of Kekon is Shotar. So Shotar, I'm gonna pop up the map because this shit is confusing. So Espenia is all the way on the right, Kekon's in the middle, and then Shotar is on the other side of Kekon. And Yucatan has a border with that country, and they're like supporting this area in Shotar that's trying to like separate from their country and I guess join with Yutan. So because of this like trying to take over territories energy, it kind of gives me Russia vibes. You know, like Russia will be like, oh, this territory is actually ours, so we're gonna help the rebels. Like, I guess, like maybe in this case we could say Ukraine. I'm not a political person, but like, let's just say we're gonna say this territory doesn't actually want to be a part of the original country and wants to be a part of our country, so we're gonna help them. So Espenia really hates Yutan and they don't want to let them have more power, so they're going to help Shotar fight against them because I think Shotar might be allies with Espenia also, and Espenia is gonna want to take their military forces, bring them to Kekon because Kekon is closer, use Kekon as a military base, and take Kekon's Jade also to like strengthen their army and all that, and attack Yutan in their war. So Kekon is not a part of this war, but they're literally physically, geologically caught in the middle of it, of this brewing war that's happening. So that's like the political landscape. I know I didn't say that the best, but hopefully you get the gist. Too long didn't read. Kekon is physically, geographically in the middle of these two warring countries, and they're gonna be getting used, and they don't wanna be used. In addition to that, there's an island nation near Kekon that has been profiting off all this political drama and stealing jade from Kekon and putting it on the black market. They have a lot of people called half bones. So they're like part Kekonese, but not, and Kekonese people don't really accept them, and they're not as powerful as like full green bones and all this drama. So there's that also going on with this like gangster kind of guy trying to force the green bones and the clans to work with him, but they're like, no, we are not letting people just steal our jade. And then that also forced Nopi clan and the Mountain clan to form kind of a temporary truce. And Hilo had this epic line when he was speaking with Mata about the truce. Hilo said to Mata that he knows they're in a temporary truce, but he knows he can't trust her for shit because she'll always want one clan in Kekon. So he's like, I will never swear oaths to you. And she's like, oh, you'll be dumb if you refuse me. Like, you need to do what I say. Like, let me take over No Peak, basically. And he's like, it's obvious you're still dreaming of one clan rule in Kekon, which means that truce or no truce, you're going to have to kill me eventually. Hilo shrugged, but there was nothing nonchalant about the motion. If I don't get you first, he says. Like, love that for Hilo. How badass is that? And then in other news, Andon is in Espenia. He's really struggling with the cultural differences over there. And he's starting to discover the green bone hidden culture within that community. Like, wearing jade proudly is like not okay in Espenia. Duels are like very taboo. Like, he gets into this accidental duel and now he's in trouble, and he found out that there's kind of like this pillar in their little foreigners district in this country that has a lot of Kekonese people. And yeah, he's figuring it out. There's a little bit of maybe a romantic storyline that is potentially there with the Pillar's son. So loving the little hints at that, but that also could be nothing. But besides that, not much has gone on. He's like learning the language, blah, 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 blah. Oh, and Hilo is literally daddy now. His wife, Wen, is pregnant, and that is so sweet. He is so loving. He's gonna be such a good daddy. Shay also has a boyfriend. I don't fully trust him because he said weird stuff like, oh, I'm not a clan loyalist, da 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 da. I'm like, red flag. You need to be ride or die for the clan. You can't just be like, I'm not a clan loyalist. No, you need to be loyal to the end to No Peak clan. That felt like foreshadowing, but I might just be scared for her, you know? Hopefully it'll be fine. But why would it be fine? That wouldn't be fun if it was fine, right? So we'll see. I'm glad I've updated you so I can continue on because that was kind of holding me up. And I'll catch you in another clip. Hilo just killed Amy because Amy has a son, Lan's child, even though this is not explained well. Amy is the mother of Lan's child, his ex-wife. She moved away. We didn't know she had a baby, but now the family knows there's this baby, Nico, and Hilo wants Nico to come back to Janloon. So he goes to Amy to be like, yo, you need to come back. She doesn't want to. She's trying to run away again, and he's not having it. He's like, I need to do what I need to do, and he murders her to force the situation so he can take the child back to his country and raise him as a greenbone. And I'm like, that's extreme. I thought about it, you know what I mean? Where I was like, Amy is definitely not being compliant, like, you need to like, I was like, the only thing he could do is like kidnap the child. I wasn't expecting him to actually kill a woman. And then also on top of that, that is an international crime. Like, I don't know how far that's gonna go, but like, that is an international crime. It's one thing for him to kill people in Janloon because like he's a greenbone and apparently that's fine. Maybe, I mean, this is even out of Aisha, like whatever code they have, like she's not wearing any jade. He just killed her. This breaks so many things. I'm shocked. I don't even remember the last time I updated you. I was supposed to like be vlogging more and I've been failing. Life update wise, I've done a lot. It's been a couple weeks. I know it's probably been at least 2 weekends since I've updated you. It's Sunday today. Last weekend, I had my family barbecue at my parents' house. It went amazing. It was a great time. And then today, I came back from a barbecue at a friend's house, which was yesterday. We drove all the way down to Maryland and also had a great time. So a lot of barbecues and friend gatherings and family gatherings. So been quite eventful, and I didn't vlog any of it. I'm so sorry, but if you're following me on Instagram, that's where you catch a lot of those things. Always posting on my stories if you want to keep up with me on the day-to-day. Jade War wise, I have made a lot of progress. I'm past 75%, and I don't think I've updated you from like 50% to like, I feel like the last thing I talked to you about was when Shay had her pregnancy. Did I talk to you about that? No, I talked to you about Hilo kidnapping his nephew. Oh my God, that was so long ago, I feel like. That was so long ago, and he killed the woman. I think that's the last time I talked to you, and that was like at 30%, and now I'm at like 76%. Anyway, so what the main things, right? Okay, so remember when Shay was dating that guy, Amaro? I'm at the part where like pretty much that all hit the fan. So like he's not really like a clan person. He kind of thinks clans are a bad thing, which I kind of get because the clans are always fighting and they like kill each other, and it's very archaic and not very progressive with like the times of how all the other countries are progressing, right? Shay had a pregnancy. I wouldn't even say it's a scare because she got pregnant by Morrow and she didn't tell him, and she was like, yo, this is not the time. Like, I need to focus on being the weatherman. Like, this is just gonna ruin everything. And like, she doesn't have a normal life, and she didn't really want to like bring Morrow in further, I guess, into the clan and like endanger him further. So she ended up deciding to end the pregnancy, which I agreed with, to be honest. Oh God, my heart hurts so much just remembering all the things that have gone down. Oh my God. Okay, I totally forgot. Okay, so she ended up terminating it. She didn't tell him. And then Aunt Mata is like trashing Shay in the papers, like in the media, basically saying, you know, Shay isn't loyal to Kekon. Like, there's this like whole nationalism, I guess, thing going on where people only care about the Kekonese. They don't care about refugees in other countries that might need their support. Like, they just care about themselves. And Aunt Mata is really feeding into this, and she's basically saying that Shay is not, like, she doesn't care about her own country. She's working with the Espenians, which she is, but like to better her country, right? To better Kekon. And then how Shay was pretty much a spy for Espenia years ago, which was stupid. Like, I don't know why she did that. And Shay ended up deciding that the only way she could stop Atmata from trashing her and like restore her reputation was to challenge her in a clean blade duel, which basically is a fight to the death. And I was shook and so scared. You know, I really wanted her to win, but I was like, the way that, you know, Fonda Lee writes these stories is that it's not like our heroes and our heroines don't always win. So I was really scared. You know, she was fighting really well. Atmata's not young, but Shay was losing. Shay was gonna die. So she conceded. She's like, I give up, like, you win. It kind of forced Atmata's hand to be like, okay, am I gonna look like a savage and murder Shay anyway in front of all these people? Or am I gonna, like, accept the terms of a clean blade and accept her, like, I don't know, submission? So she did, but, like, Shay lost, and it was just, I mean, I guess it worked out because her reputation got better, but, like, she lost, and I really didn't want her to lose. I wanted her to win. And then her and Morrow end up breaking up because of reasons. I guess, like, she wants to keep him safe. She can't tell him things about her work with the clan and stuff because he's not a part of the clan, which is a problem in my opinion in this culture, but she didn't mind. And surprisingly, Hilo was pretty open to him, but it would be different. It would be hard. You know, he would never be able to sit at, like, family dinners to discuss clan stuff and all that, whatever. He would always be, like, a step down from her. They wouldn't really ever be equals, you know, Shay and Morrow. But he has mixed blood, which is kind of a secret because of all the nationalist stuff. I don't know if that's the right term. So he has to keep that a secret. Like, he has Shotarian in him, in his blood, and he has, like, half siblings and family in another country, which is, like, part of the war and all this stuff. And then these people come to him and they're threatening him, and then he ends up being a part of this plot because his family is being threatened. He lets these bad, evil people from Zipunia, who's, like, this drug lord, like, he's always trying to smuggle Jade from Kekon into Yuwiwan, which is his island country not that far away, because they have, like, half-bone people over there where they're, like, mixed, half Kekonese, half this other culture, but, like, the Kekonese don't recognize them. They're like, you're only half, because, you know, the Kekonese people aren't perfect. They have clearly prejudice. They have a lot of prejudices, but this, like, crime lord wants to take out No Peak because No Peak and the Mountain Clan are kind of on the same page with stopping all the black market stuff. And this guy, this gangster, is, like, profiting on all this black market stuff. And he blackmails Morrow to, like, get in to No Peak's, like, main house where Shay and Hilo live. And they plant a bomb on Hilo's car trying to kill Hilo. But Mike Ken is driving it, and he was going to pick up Wen from the park with the kids, and then it blows up. Like, she's walking over to the car, Ken gets out to open the door, and he explodes with the car. And he dies. He's, like, just gone. And I was like, what the fuck? But, like, I didn't know it was Mara at the time. It's just like a movie. It's just like all of a sudden this thing happens. And then he comes, and they're like, someone has come to the house saying that they're the reason this happened, and it was him. I was like, I knew I could not, like, there was going to be an issue with this guy. Like, once he got introduced to the story, I was like, you better not hurt my girl Shay. And then he is a part of a plot to attack her family. But he felt like he couldn't go to her because then Shay was hiding stuff from him, and then she confessed that she had the abortion without talking to him about it. So he was, like, hurt by that, clearly, obviously, but, like, he didn't feel like he could go to her, that saying that he was being threatened, and it was a mess. It was a mess. And then, like, Shay ended up having to, you know, she decided to end his life herself because it needed to be done, and she didn't want to leave it to Hilo because Hilo lost Ken, who's basically his brother, and Tar wasn't going to do it because Tar literally lost his brother, and, like, he is inconsolable. Like, Ken was his soulmate, you know, his other half as his brother. Like, he would have tortured Morrow, and Shay loves Morrow, even though they broke up. And, like, she gave him a painless, merciful death. And, yeah, it was, like, really tragic. What else tragic happened? Wen has 2 kids now. So they have the nephew, which they're, like, she's the mother to him, basically. Like, adopted mother. But Hilo always makes sure that that kid, what's his name? Nico knows that Hilo is his uncle. That way he never forgets his real father, Lan. Then they have their son together. Wen and Hilo have a son together. And then Wen just gave birth to a daughter, actually. So they have 3 now. And it's funny because it's 2 boys and then a girl, which Hilo's like, that's how it happens in this family, which is cute. Andon is still in Espenia. It's been like 2 years. He's been there for so long. And there's like drama with gangs over there as well. So Hilo's trying to get like more involved to like help the small greenbone community that's in Espenia, even though their culture is very different. Because what do they call themselves? Like Kespies, like Kekanese and Espenians. Like it's a blend of cultures. So he's written up a deal with like the 3 main gangs or something in Espenia to give them Jade. That way they'll like leave the greenbones that live in Espenia alone so that they can just do what they want to do. Also, Jade is illegal in Espenia. But he's not that fussed. He's like, I'll just give them all the shitty Jade because they've been stopping all of the black market stuff, like all the black market smuggling and stuff. So they're just going to take the shitty smuggled Jade and give it to them. And he doesn't even care. I don't really know what the long-term plan is with that, but that just seems like it's stirring the pot a little bit. Like, there's just too much Jade going around all over the world, uncontrolled, or like in bad hands. You know what I mean? And he's contributing. So I feel like that's gonna bite us in the butt later down the line. Hilo basically told Andon that, yeah, you're gonna have to stay in Espenia. I need like people I can trust in this country. We really want to build up the Kekanese, no peak clan presence in Espenia. That's like the direction we need to go for the future and all this stuff. So he's gonna stay there, and he's really sad about it. But also in even more like happy news after all this tragedy, Andon basically has a boyfriend. He met this guy. He's the son of the pillar in Espenia. His name's Corey, and he's a little bit older than Andon, and I'm just so happy for him. Like, he has a little love. Like, he's never been with anybody before, really, and it's just exciting to, like, see him have that first love. But it is interesting, too, because Andon doesn't want to carry Jade, and Corey does carry some Jade, but Corey is not nearly half the green bone that Andon is, because he wasn't raised that way. He didn't train like Andon did. He culturally doesn't know like how it works. It's just so different in Espenia. And hopefully Corey doesn't die. Because that would suck. Beru's been up to trouble. He's always scheming. He has a bunch of Jade now with that kid Mutt. Mutt is getting kind of sick and tired of Beru. He's like, yo, you said you were going to help me get revenge for my father on the Mike brothers. Oh my god, I just remembered another thing that happened related to this. Beru really doesn't care about that. He's just hanging out with Mutt because he helped him get Jade or whatever, and he helped him get the SN1 shine so that he could hold the Jade, whatever. Mutt had enough of it. So Mutt plotted, and he sedated Beru, like he poisoned his drink, and then he overdosed Beru on shine. And it was a murder attempt. And I know Eliza hates Beru so much, so I was like, she's gonna love this. She's gonna think Beru's dead. But like, I've seen the last page by accident in the book, and I saw Beru's name on it, so I know he's gonna make it to the end. And I'm at chapter 48 now, and it says Beru's out of the hospital, or like he's been in the hospital for a while, so I know he's alive. He's just always getting into mess. And yeah, like, I'm just at 48, and it looks like he has survived the poisoning. He doesn't have his Jade anymore, I don't imagine. He's weaning off of shine, but I doubt that's gonna last for long. That just feels like the hospital forced him to do it. But once Mutt was on his own, he was like at some bar or whatever, and these women approached him. They're like, wow, you have a lot of Jade, like, who are you? They're like, we've never seen you before. And he's like, trying to like make himself seem big or whatever, while these girls are like questioning him. And he's like, I got this Jade from Lan, like I took it off his body or whatever, as if he's basically claiming that he killed Cal Lan, which is a mistake, because first he didn't, and two, you don't just advertise that you killed the pillar of No Peak Clan. So the bartender hears, and they call up Hilo's guys and are like, this kid is saying this ish, and then they kidnap him. They see that he actually has Lan's Jade, and they're like, yo, you're no more. So they strip him of his Jade. Hilo takes like a couple Jade sets off his collarbone and puts it in Mutt's mouth, tapes this boy's mouth shut, and then buries him alive. They put like a tube so he could breathe. And wait, I'm gonna find this because this shit is scary. Also, I decided after reading Jade City that I needed to add scared stickers. I just added this one, and I've been using it a lot because I'd be scared a lot of the times. It says, without his regular dose of shine, an addict would normally begin to feel the effects of Jade overexposure within 24 hours. So basically, because he doesn't have the shine, he's going to feel the side effects of Jade, because the shine like lets them use Jade. If you're not like a real trained green bone, you're just a normal person, Jade is like really toxic, you know? And then it goes, with Jade trapped inside an adrenaline overloaded body, it was sure to happen much faster. The itches would set in shortly thereafter. The shine is going to fade out. He's going to start getting Jade side effects and like get the itches and like die this horrible, terrifying death of, one, being buried alive, and then two, dying of the itches. And this kid's like a teenager. He's probably like 19, 20, I don't know. And that is just tragic. But like, he signed his own death warrant, like yelling and spouting all these things about killing Lan in public, and like, yikes, that was really bad, really sad. And then besides that, it's been like a lot of political stuff. That's probably why I haven't talked too much to you. It might just be setting up stuff that's going to happen in Jade Legacy, I don't know, but there's just so much political maneuvering stuff going on in the larger scope that isn't like necessarily the decisions that are made by our main characters. Aspenia really wants to use Kekon, which we've already established. Like, Tar says this interesting thing. He's like, the Aspenians start a war that grows the black market for Jade. We get them to help us shut down the smuggling that they caused in the first place, and in return, they expect us to be grateful and do their bidding like children. Which is a fair point. You're like caught in a circle. You're caught in this horrible loop. I'm just filming on my phone. I'm hysterically crying. That was traumatic to read. Just like a little traumatic. I think I'm on chapter 60. Major things happen, but like, okay, chapter 59 is great. Like, the main thing we wanted happened, except the way the chapter ended was with the group getting tailed by the crew, like Skinny's crew. So like Andon and Ron and Wen like executed Zapunio, or however you say his name, but like the cops they paid off to look the other way ratted them out to Skinny's crew. Skinny's men just executed Ron, and it was the most horrible thing to read. It was way worse than Ken's death, because Ken's death was so sudden, but like this I had to watch them, read them, but like visualize it. So I'm gonna say watch them shoot him in the legs, beat him up, take a plastic bag and like a zip tie, put it over his head and tighten it around his throat, and he's like fighting it obviously, and he's jerking around, and oh my god, it was horrifying. And it's worse because like, you know how Ron is, he's like such a green bone in Aspenia. Like everyone says, he's the greenest man in Aspenia, and he really didn't need to be involved in this. And like, the pillar of Aspenia pretty much didn't want to be involved in this, didn't want Ron to be involved with this, but he agreed if Andon would stay away from his son. And it's like, okay. And Ron is so green that he's like, I was literally just saying this to myself before in chapter 59, like, yo, Ron is a real MVP. Like, he's so green bone. Like, he's like, okay, you need something to get done? When and where? Let's take care of business. You know, like, he's like that. For him to be executed and dead now, and I'm not even done with this chapter. Andon is in danger, and Wen is in danger, and Wen wasn't even supposed to be at this execution of Zapunio. Hilo had called off the mission, but Shay and Wen still wanted to go through with it behind his back. But I'm confused because Eliza has finished the book and she did not freak out. So I'm thinking, if Eliza didn't freak out when she finished this book, that Wen and Andon will survive this. I need to finish this chapter. I'm trying to be optimistic that they will survive, but this has been awful. I'm gonna keep going. I'm almost done. I've got like about 30 pages left to read, and it's so late. It's like almost 2 a.m. Not when, please, not when. Yo, Sam is gonna be devastated because she loves Wen. Obviously, I love Wen too, but like, she had a lot of like bravery about it, but like, she's gotta be dead, right? She's gotta be fucking dead. They did the same thing to her. They put the thing over her head. Wen's like kicked, stiffened, went limp. Andon is screaming, and then they are about to do the same thing to him, and he goes, his vision went red, then white. Like, Andon, please get the fuck out of this. Like, just figure, I don't know, just have a miracle moment. I don't fucking know. Wen is dead. Hilo is gonna lose his mind. Wen is the love of that man's life. Oh my god. I will say, like, I got like, this was like the next page since the last time I talked to you. But the last quarter of this book has been 5 stars. It is just like really intense, really good. It's like all the action stuff is what really shines in this series. And like the other parts were fine, but it just kind of felt like it was like setting things up maybe for the 3rd book. But oh my god, I am emotionally damaged right now. I'm gonna pray for Anne to get out of this, but I might need to actually get my actual camera because my reactions have been really intense right now. Okay, let me make myself presentable for you. Shit is going down, and I might as well try to capture some of my reactions for you. Who knows? I've been crying, I've been gasping, I've been dying in my soul. So pray for all the loved ones. Fondly really knows how to destroy you. Wait, I didn't even highlight the part when Wen was fucking executed. I'm just like rereading what happened to Wen, and I'm so devastated. The way she went about this with like so much bravery, and she knows Hilo will avenge her. I like already read this part, and I'm so upset. Please, Andon, like, fucking avenge them immediately. Kill these motherfuckers. I don't have a color for begging, but if I did, I would be begging. What? Right. The Greenbones saved him. The Espenian Greenbones saved Andon. I don't know how they found out. He was literally gonna die. Oh, because he made that call even though he didn't get a chance to say anything. No. Andon's literally trying to resuscitate Wen, and they're like, she's gone. I'm like on the edge of my seat. Like, Andon is desperate to save Wen, even though she's dead. He grabs Ron's jade studded gloves, and now I'm just waiting to see what he's gonna try to do. Like, channel her heart back to life? Can you channel things to life? Oh my god. Please. What? He like EKG'd her or something. I'm not a doctor. He channeled into her heart and like shocked that back to life. She's alive. She's alive. He saved her. He brought her back to life. I'm so glad she's not dead. This is cruel. Like, I'm emotionally being thrown around like a rag doll right now. Like, I wish I could take a month off, like a full month off from the series, because I am so drained emotionally from this. Like, the first part of this book I felt like was kind of a generous 4 stars. This last quarter, like I said earlier, is just so good. Like, I might even, because I said it was so good, it's like 5 stars, right? I was going to be like, okay, maybe I'll give it a 4.5. I might just give the whole book 5 stars just because of this latter part of the book. They just make you care about these characters so much. The way you can visualize how things, at least how I can visualize how things are happening, is just out of this world. Oh my god. I'm so happy she's not dead. Holy shit. Also, in regard to the scene with Andon channeling Wen back to life, like, this is not normal. Andon is specifically very, very highly skilled at channeling. Like, that was his most gifted area in Academy. This isn't something that just regular green bones can pull off. He is an amazingly skilled channeler. He used channeling to take out Gaunt Ash in Jade City, and now he's used channeling to save Wen from death. Like, she was literally dead. He's like always the MVP in these books. He might be the true main character. I mean, there are so many other things going on, but like when it comes to these like stellar heroic moments, he's definitely the hero of this series so far. I am just blown away by him. Hi, so I finished Jade War last night. As you saw, I was crying a lot. And I'm sorry I looked really rough, but I wanted to experience that with you on camera and kind of capture that moment. So we'll see how much of that I actually keep in, because but I was crying so hard. So just quickly to kind of wrap up what I was talking about last night before I kind of review the other things that happened since my last update. As we saw, Andon was able to revive Wen, but Wen isn't doing that great. Like, she's okay, she's alive, but she's like paralyzed. Like, half of her face and half of her body, I think on the right side, is like paralyzed, and she can't really speak. She's back in Kekon from like her assassination job in Espenia, but she's away like in a beach seaside town or whatever to heal and rest. So she's away from the family, away from the kids and stuff, which is really sad. And I'm just sad that she's been really hurt, but it's realistic. I mean, she was dead for a while, like her brain wasn't getting any oxygen, but hopefully she heals. Hilo's mad because Shay basically told him, you know, what happened, and because he had no idea what was going on. And he like attacks Shay, like physically attacks her. He's so mad. And I was like so angry about that. And he has the audacity, like, I guess I get it, but like, he's like, get out, you're free, you're not my weatherman anymore, it's what you always wanted, Shay, like, get out. And at that point, I like almost threw the book across the room. I was so mad. I was like, after all that Shay's given to this family and this clan, and she was gonna listen to him, but then she's like, you know what? Forget that. And she says the same thing. She's like, I'm not leaving Hilo. I've done so much for this clan, so much for No Peak, so much for this family. Like, you need me. I'm not leaving. You know, I went behind your back, which was wrong, but that's the only mistake I made, you know? And then she also tells Hilo that she never forced Wen to do anything. Wen came to her years ago asking to help, because Wen is a green bone at heart. Even though she's a Stone Eye and she has no Jade powers, you know, for years, right? And Hilo had no idea, so he's so mad. And like, he's happy that Wen is alive. Obviously, he loves her so much, but he's like, Wen made her own choices. She disobeyed me, went behind my back for years. How can I ever forgive that? And then this is him talking to Andon now, because Andon's back in Kekon, and Andon's like, it was never about going against you, Hilo-Gen, for me or Wen. It's not your forgiveness we need, just your understanding. And I was like, yeah, literally. Like, what else kind of rocked my world? There was just like so much happening in that later section of the book. So Hilo was giving all that Jade to those crews, like those gangs in Espenia, and I was like, how is this gonna work out? And his goal was basically for them to destroy each other, which they did, but the crew that attacked Andon, Wen, and Ron knew that all this trouble that came to Espenia was since like the Jade craze, like since everybody was obsessed with getting Jade and all this stuff, so he's like, he has this like hatred for Kekonese people, and he was just gonna like kill them. That was his motivation, right? Fair enough. Kind of extreme, but like I can see how he thought like everything went to the shitter once Jade got involved. Atmata is still plotting. I am terrified of that woman, but it's cool because you can finally see the progress that No Peak has made against her. So she's like claiming all this stuff like, oh, you took out Zapunyo, but now I own his Barakan people, and like I basically have all of his assets and like the things that he had, like I control now. And she's like bragging about this to Shay. And I was like, oh great. And she's also like, politically, I wanted this refugee bill to pass. That way, the people that identify as Kekanese or have Kekanese ancestors in the warring area can come to Kekan. And she's like, they'll all be a part of the Mountain Clan. We'll have thousands more people in the Mountain Clan. We're just bigger and badder and all this stuff. And I was like, oh my God. But then Shay made a good counterpoint, not like said to her, but she was thinking about it. She's like, okay, Mata might have all those things, but she's also had to do things that she didn't want. So Shay's like, Mata has fractionlessness in her clan now due to the No Peaks messing around with stirring the pot and getting people to try to overthrow Mata within. Mata had to sell the Mountain Clan's largest company because the owners of that company were Mountain Clan people, but they were gonna overthrow her and she had to kill that whole family basically. And she sold it to foreigners, the majority shares of it, which she didn't want to do. She broke Aisho by murdering Chancellor's son to get that bill passed, which is really not cool as a greenbone. And she stained her hands with the blood of her own greenbones yet again, aka when she killed that whole family. She'd been forced to recognize the claim of an unproven 12-year-old boy and elevated this other Mountain Clan family, even though she didn't want to. There's this whole thing with Mata not wanting to proclaim an heir, and she kind of semi-needs to secure her position so that people won't keep trying to overthrow her and that people feel more secure. So she's brought in this 12-year-old kid that has the biggest claim to it, by blood, because Mata doesn't have any kids. But he's a blood descendant of her adopted father or whatever, I think. She hasn't officially named him, but she's making it look like she's gonna. So No Peak forced her to do that. And yeah, so basically Mata is trying to be scary, but mostly it's this posturing thing because she feels threatened by No Peak. So at least there's that. Oh, and then in sadder, not critical news, Andon and Corey broke up. First off, Corey, love that kid. He's a sweetie, but he was just not serious. He's just too frivolous. He's away at law school. He doesn't even really care about law school, but he's doing it to please his parents, and he only sees Andon once every 4 to 6 weeks, and Andon is so in love with this kid, but they've not defined the relationship, and Andon's who else are you hooking up with? And Corey's where does this come from? And Andon's just why? He deserves so much better. He deserves so much better treatment from Corey as a partner. But then Andon was still gonna go along with it, right? But then after Ron died, Andon was so sorry, he went to the pillar again, and he's he felt really bad, understandably so, but the pillar was Ron was too green to die a peaceful death. When you're a real green bone, it's high likelihood that you're gonna die. Oh my God, there was this one line, I don't think I highlighted it, but I should've. I'm not gonna find it. I don't know if I highlighted it, but it was a really beautiful quote about how when you're a green bone, death is always a possibility. Just because there's a high likelihood it's gonna rain, you're not gonna change your big plans. You know what I mean? Just because there's a chance you could die, you're not gonna change your plans. I'm emotionally drained, you know what I mean? Fonda Lee really put me through the ringer last night. She was whipping me and my emotions around like a rag doll. I was up and down, clearly, thinking people were dead, having hope, having fear, having joy, having heartache, oh my God, it was amazing. So I felt like this book was probably 4 stars when I was reading as I was going through it, but then that latter part was just so freaking amazing. I think I'm gonna give it a 4.5. I think that feels right. It's more than a 4, but I don't know if I can say it was a 5 because it's not as good as the first one. So I think I'm gonna give it a 4.5 and feel good about that. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sure it's super, super long, clearly super, super chatty. Definitely let me know your thoughts on Jade War if you've read it down in the comments. And I'm gonna be continuing on in the Discord chats for Jade Legacy, which is the book I have to read next. And I'm tired. I'm so emotionally drained. And the books just keep getting longer. Also, just a fun fact, 5 years went by in this book. And I wouldn't be surprised if 30 years went by in this book. But that's all I have for this video. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to leave this video a thumbs up. And if you wanna hang out with me some more, definitely subscribe down below. And I will catch you in another video. Bye.